So it finally happened. Travis Scott finally released Days Before Rodeo on all streaming services 10 years after its initial release as a mixtape. And now it's about to sell probably about 300,000 copies first week, which would make it, I believe, would make it the second highest selling hip hop album this year. If not the second, then it is for sure the third because I remember whenever the first projections came out, it was already third, which is obviously record breaking. At least to my mind, it is because I can't think of another mixtape or album that has been re released onto streaming services that has sold that much first week. I think that is something that should not be glanced over, and that should put Travis in some uncomfortable conversations simply because of that sheer I don't even know what to call it, just that ability. Now, obviously, Days Before Rodeo has been, like his first album, considered a classic, and for very good reason. One of the most fascinating things I love to see, and I feel like not enough people recognize in Travis Scott's discography, is watching it evolve into being more elegant and more bigger sounding than it used to be. This initial I love hearing older Travis because he's not as elegant. He's more rough. It's against the grind. It sounds like he's grinding his teeth when he's saying certain lines. You can hear him sound more rough and not as almost sonically pleasing. Even it is sonically pleasing, but nowhere near in the same aspects as, let's say, Utopia or even Astro World. I love that darker, more raspy, evil sounding version of Travis where he almost sounds like he's rapping when he's drunk. I think that sounds perfect, and I think it perfectly fits him. I honestly, I do kind of think I enjoy Travis Scott now more because I feel like his ability to make music has gotten better and he can make his songs sound bigger and more expansive and more angelic than they ever used to be. And he's just able to do more things. I think he's had the ability to make more kinds of music than this. However, that does not mean we should not look back at this in a negative light because this album has no bad song. This is 12 back-to-back bangers. I remember going out of my way to go on SoundCloud to listen to Sloppy Toppy, and now I never have to. I can go to Spotify, listen to Sloppy Toppy, and freaking every time Quavo screams out, hop in the whip and disappear like a genie, I think that's God, man, that is crazy. The feeling that gives me, I remember the first time I heard it was insane. But it's so crazy hearing it. It's so insane finally being able to hear it on spot. You don't have to go to a third party streaming, not third party, I shouldn't call it that, but not as main streaming service on SoundCloud. You don't have to go to that no more. You can just go to Spotify. You can go to Apple Music. I was a lot more excited for this project whenever I seen that he was going to be dropping basically a deluxe for it too, with some songs that were made in that era. And I remember my first thought was, please put Mo City Flexologist on this album, please. And he ended up doing that. That is on the deluxe version. It's not on streaming services as of right now, but I have a theory that it probably will be put on streaming services as this whole first week of tracking his album sales goes away, and we'll probably be able to listen to the deluxe version. But I remember for a minute all you could listen to it is if you bought it digitally or if you bought it on vinyl, which I ended up doing. I have purchased that version on vinyl, and I'm gonna try and keep those bonus songs out of an initial score of the album, which I just realized in my notes I never wrote down, but y'all are obviously gonna like my answer. But I'm writing it down as we speak, right now. But anyway, and I just got a beeper notification, and I really thought he had just put his album on streaming services, but it was a stupid Drake drop that I really have no interest in. But anyway, I'm pretty sure there are 6 songs in that deluxe version. I'm going to be honest with you, now that I'm in the spot, and I have to actually remember them all, I can't. But Mo City Flexologist being the best of them, Too Many Options isn't one. Too Many Chances, I believe, is the... No, it's not that one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're all good. Yeah, with Young Thug is one of them, which I actually didn't know was made in this era. I have heard that song before, though. Obviously a not as good version. And Serenade is another, probably my favorite song out of this deluxe bunch. I can't wait to hear it on my vinyl. And I really hope he does put these versions or like these songs onto streaming platforms. And obviously you can tell he wants to get that number one instead of Sabrina Carpenter, which he has honestly a real chance of doing that now, because he actually, what his strategy was, I'm pretty sure Sabrina only did it once. She did drop a project that was like a deluxe version. It had one bonus track on it that you could buy for $5. This project, this album, he already had the initial version and then the deluxe version, right? Already, which I mean is normal. I guess that's pretty cool. And then I feel like he didn't realize that how competitive this was going to get. I don't think anyone really seen this re-release being as, especially seeing those numbers, as commercially successful as it is right now. I don't think Travis did either, which is why I feel like he didn't just drop those deluxe bonus tracks in a more frequent, faster like way. I almost think they would have dropped a lot sooner if he would have known how successful this was going to be. Because on paper, I feel like Sabrina Carpenter should have ran away with this number one. She had a number two on like the Billboard 100 single, and then a number one single before this album. She should not be like on paper. These two albums should not be competing like they are right now. However, once I think once Travis realized that he can actually like get into this race and seeing that he could actually has a good chance of beating her at number one. I'm not saying he's going to, but he has a pretty good chance. He dropped another deluxe version with 2 bonus tracks. One of them, I'm pretty sure it's called Hot One with Young Thug and Quavo. That might not be the name of it. I mean, it just dropped and I just heard them for the first time today, so please bear with me. And Too Many Options, I'm pretty sure, is the second one on there. And then he dropped another version, which had 2 more bonus songs on it. And then he dropped another version. So basically, we are at 4, like, I'm pretty sure it called them, like, Vault Deluxes or something like that. And now, like, if you include that first one that he dropped, like, initially with the vinyl, there are now 4 of those versions. And that 4th one had a song with Playboi Carti on it, Homicide, which I remember hearing that, like, that snippet / like, unreleased version. It was... I'm sad it wasn't green and purple, but, I mean, also that kind of, you can tell he was like, dang, I just kind of need to put 2 songs on here. Like, it kind of lost that whole, like, I'm purposefully picking songs from that era, because that Homicide, I remember when that got popular, that is an Astroworld throwaway, or like they made that song around when he made Astroworld and around when Playboi Carti played Die Lit. It is like a throwaway. It didn't make both of their albums, basically, but I'm pretty sure like it didn't make Astroworld specifically because it's Travis's song, technically. But anyway, that doesn't even matter. You can kind of tell he's kind of just, he wants his number one, so he kind of lost the whole theme. He even dropped a live from Atlanta version, and then he dropped a Chopped Not Screwed version, which is crazy because now there are like a bunch of more versions of this album that exist now out and about. However, they do not exist anymore. I went back to TravisScott.com and you can no longer buy those now that the tracking week is over, which is kind of crappy. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think anyone is too stressed out about losing that Chopped Not Screwed version, or too worried about losing a live from Atlanta version. I mean, we all know where it came from. We know why it existed. We know why you released it. Because you was like, dang, I could really get into this. Like, I can get in this race. I'm going to start dropping multiple versions of my project. It's not... I don't think anyone can fault Travis for that, because I feel like if they were in the same shoes and they had the ability, they probably would too. I would. I know I would. But I feel like that's kind of... The additional songs, I feel like, is what I'm mainly kind of disappointed over, because now, including me, I mean, I probably wasn't going to spend like $20 just on like 6 additional songs. That's almost paying for a whole vinyl at that point. But for the people that like can no longer, those basically just aren't there anymore. And I checked again recently, those albums are still not, those additional songs are still not there. And I do know people that bought them, and the only reason I even have the ability to listen to them is because I looked up the what's it called? I looked up like the basically people who had put them on YouTube, and I went and checked them out. I do have the theory, and I'm assuming probably not the Chop Not Screwed or the Live from Atlanta version. Those might come to streaming, but they're a lot less likely. I do think at least the first digital deluxe version will probably come to streaming services. It probably will, but it's no real guarantee, honestly. And you know what, I've kind of realized that this video has kind of went away from the review standpoint, but I mean, I'm just kind of chatting, to be honest with you, but that doesn't like take it away. This mixtape is really good. I really just wanted to talk about why it's so successful and why it's being so successful, because it is a fantastic mixtape. It's a classic for a reason. Gray is amazing. The freestyle, amazing. 1975, amazing. Quintana, Skyfall is one of my favorite Travis Scott songs. It's beautiful. Perfect Young Thug feature. Like I said earlier, Sloppy Toppy always holds a special place in my heart. And do you know how many times I went to the Mamacita music video just to listen to the prayer? I did it a lot. The prayer is one of my favorite songs. I love the prayer. But yeah, it's absolutely insane that this 10-year-old mixtape is selling 200 confirmed, like officially, at least 200,500 copies first week. That is insane. I'm glad he's battling for this number one because it led to a bunch of new songs for us to dine on. That is something that I feel like we can always take out of this, is this like battle for number one led to 8 new Travis Scott songs. Actually, no, I mean those 3 bonus versions, like 6, but then we got all those other deluxe versions. Like we got like 12 new, like got a whole other mixtape pretty much. We got a whole other version. And I'm also pretty sure that the deluxe version, it's already number one on iTunes, which is crazy. In certain countries, I don't think it's out in every single one, but you can go to Apple Music and still listen to it, which is kind of crazy. Which, first of all, that's crazy to not have it on Spotify, but I think that's pretty like solid evidence that it's coming to Spotify. It's on its way to every streaming platform. So if you don't want to buy, like, spend money on that vinyl just to hear 6 new songs, first of all, just know it is worth it. They are 6 very good songs, especially Most City Flexologist. Yeah. Serenade is really good. All of these songs are pretty good. And honestly, like, I found that to be worth it, all those extra songs. I really hope all of those, like, random ones that he started dropping get onto streaming services too, instead of just the initial 6, because then that might make like a bunch of like 6 new songs just kind of lost to time, that just because he wanted that number one and now they're gone unless you paid for them, which would kind of suck. But anyway, Days Before Rodeo, I give a 9.5 out of 10. You know, I think that's a pretty good record. 9.5 out of 10. I love it. And if you stay to the end of this video, you obviously know, if you've watched my other ones, I have a Patreon. The link is in the description to it. For as little as $1.50 a month, you get exclusive shoutouts and videos, and you get early access to videos before they come out, sometimes like weeks before they come out if you're lucky enough. And for there's obviously tiers in between that are cheaper, but if you get the $20 a month subscription, you get everything from early access to music to a free Fatal K t-shirt every month. So if I was you, I'd hit that. I'd check that one out. You know what I'm saying? And if you just want to support me, you obviously get all the previous benefits and all the other tiers as well. But I hope y'all subscribe.